Okay, a very good afternoon to everyone. First and foremost, thank you HR Forum for organizing this webinar together with Talent Corp Group. We are more than happy to join or to participate as a speaker for this webinar today afternoon. Just a little bit introduction about myself. My name is Satya. I'm the head of client relationship management for MYXpats Centre. Together with me, I have all my team members here today to assist you on all the questions that you would like to ask in regards to managing expatriate and its related services. Without further ado, I will go into our presentation today. Today's agenda, if you see, we will be walking you through with company registration together with expatriate application via ESD Online. This is where we will break into step 1 and step 2. The second agenda for today as well, the second one will be online application via ESD Online portal. The third one, I will walk you through regards to Residence Pass Talent, RPT. The fourth one will be facility related to expatriate management. And the fifth one will be walkabout about MYXpats offices and our photo sessions. And also, we will be ending our agenda today with Q&A session. Okay, a little bit about ESD and how MYXpats journey have begun. If you see in your slide, ESD actually was established through Economic Council. It was a joint working committee. We call it JWCE to oversee all the expatriate related matters in 19 March 2012. In 23 April in 2012, in the same year, MOU has been signed between Ministry of Home Affairs together with Talent Corp Group on the establishment of JWCE. If you see on the objective why Talent Corp has been there is to coordinate and to align the policies whereby to attract and retain our expatriate, and also ensure we execute holistically all the public agencies and private entities together, and also to streamline and simplify the expatriate services as an enabler for transforming Malaysia into a preferred country to investment and top global talent. So this was the first objective as to why Talent Corp was being has been given mandate, I would say, by Minister of Home Affairs in managing the application of expatriates. The first in 2011, of course, Resident Pass Talent was being introduced, which is a long-term pass of 10 years given to a C-suite level. Mostly, the pass is a privileged pass that's been given to C-suite level, and followed by in 2014, the first we launched our ESD Immigration Services, and it was launched by our former Prime Minister. Okay, and in 2015, we did some extension at ESD MYXpats Centre in June 2015 by EPU Minister back then, and followed by in 2016, MYXpats has enhanced our customer-centric focus. Prior to that, we were more focusing on product-centric. That's where in 2016, the management of Talent Corp together with the Ministry of Home Affairs decided that we should now focus on customer-centric focus, where we try to do more improvements and continue strengthening the delivery of, I would say, 5-star services. Those who have done manually back then would know what is the tedious process of expatriate application as compared to what you have experiencing now. And continue with that in 2019. That's where MYXpats new look at level 4 in the same building in Surian Tower. we started operating and we launched a new office in level 4 in 28th of February in 2019. With that, during that, I think most of you, after that, we face on pandemic and so on. That's where immigration, together with Talent Corp, we have decided we have to ease on in terms of expatriate mobility. That's where we decided to open our center, ESD Center, at KLIA 1, where the Immigration Department of Malaysia launched the ESD Satellite Center together with YB-MDN, former YD-MDN. And in 2022, we have spread our wing to northern region, where Talent Corp has officially opened our new office in Penang at Bayang Baru, one precinct. And of course, one precinct Penang northern branch. We don't have any immigration officers who give any endorsement. We have centralized all our endorsement and pass delivery at MYXpats Centre HQ, Surian Tower. But in Penang, you are more than free. If you are in northern region, feel free to drop by to our office. You can inquiry about regards to any programs related to Talent Corp Group. Next. Now I will walk you through to company registration and expatriate application via ESD Online. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, these are the touch points that I would like to highlight to all of you. When you see in your screen, we have 4 stages. I would like to break the stage 1 and stage 2. I would like to group it stage 1 and stage 2 as one section, and stage 3 and stage 4 into another section. Stage 1 and stage 2 is the most vital stages, as where in any companies who wish to hire expatriate, they are required to register under ESD, company registration. The stage 1 and stage 2 is where managed solely by Immigration Department, Unit Inspectorate at Immigration, Putrajaya. That's where a set of documents are being asked by immigration in order for you to eligible on the registration. The decision of registration of the company is depends on the company revenue, paid up capital. So there are a set of elements that are taken into account before your company being approved. And of course, upon approval, that's where the stage 2 activation will take place. In between this, during your initial registration, expatriate projections can be put together also, and this expatriate projection is on the yearly basis. Of course, upon your completion of each utilization of your expatriate projection, you can always request back. Of course, sometimes some companies on the project base, they might require a certain amount of expatriates to be in Malaysia. So therefore, upon your utilization of your quota, you can always request back on the projection. So upon completion of stage 1, company, assuming your company has been approved by ESD Online company registration, you will be required to activate your company. That's where if you see LOU person, letter of undertaking. Okay, LOU is where the usually the HR professionals in the company who will be managing the expatriate application are their names and their details are given to immigration, so that they will be able to communicate in terms of let's say in future, would you like to call MYXpats Centre? Hey, I would like to know regards to my application status. We will check the person, the caller or the email person is registered under LOU. This is very important, and I'm pretty sure it's very common issues where the movement of HR personnel in the company might be in and out, but we always encourage the person who managing ESD account to update the details of LOU, so that in future, if you would like to request, if you would like to engage or contact us in MYXpats Centre, we will check through, we do a security check that we are liaising this with this particular person. Okay, upon the completion of this section 1, which is includes stage 1 and stage 2, stage 3 and stage 4 is where MYXpats role will be there. Okay, stage 3 is where Expatriates application will be put by yourself, your HR professionals, where the entire client charter, if you see, is 5 working days. So when I say 5 working days, you might be asking why sometimes it takes 2. Always remember, whenever the case has been written back to the company and you resubmit back the application, the client charter will be calculated from day 1 back. Okay, so if you want to ensure that you need this particular expatriate to be on board immediately, please feel free to check our guidebook. We have our guidebooks on a certain application, what are the requirement of documents and so on. Everything is in our website. Feel free to check. You can download our guidebook, and all, if you meet all the documents as per our requirement, the assuming it's complete information or document has been uploaded, we will process your application within 5 working days. Okay, and of course, upon your approval, as you all know, now we call it endorsement E to E. Either we have two types. When I say two types is either through endorsement at KLIA or pass delivery. Of course, when I say pass delivery, it's only via Post Malaysia. We do not assign any other than Post Malaysia your pass. And of course, when during the pass delivery, for example, the expatriate has to be in Malaysia, and the persons who are under LOU needs to have the physical passport in order for the postman to deliver the sticker. Okay, in between this, of course, my visa, as all of you know, as compared to previously, you need to go to embassy and collect your visa, your single entry, in order for you to come and convert your single entry into multiple. That's where now mostly e-visa is there. Regardless what, you can apply your e-visa. It will be taken, maximum will be around two working days, and we always encourage, but usually e-visa will be only allowed to be applied by expatriate in the host country, for assuming, because e-visa will be tracking your IP address. That's where sometime HR professor would like to apply on behalf, you're unable to apply because my visa will only detect any IP address registered outside of Malaysia. Okay, so upon another section, as I said, stage 4, pass delivery, another collection area. That's where at EAC Center, assuming you have selected your EAC Center at KLIA 1, upon arrival, right after the the immigration check, before you collecting your luggage, your expatriates, they can do the endorsement at our EAC KLIAs, which is we operate 24/7 every day. Okay, and we have our dedicated officers together with immigration officers to do the sticker printing or endorsement. Okay, and those for EPass, some of you have been curious what is EPass. EPass is where for those cases like renewal, you're no longer needed to have any physical sticker in the passport. Despite EPass is where a document like a A4 paper been printed to you for usually for cases like EP and DP renewal only. But it's within 1 working days. You can download from the system. You can download from the system to uh, and you can pass it to your expatriate. Okay. And looking into the respective role, what is Expected Service Division and MYXpats does, of course, as I mentioned, the stage 1 and stage 2, this where company registration. Of course, when company registration, what ESD will do, the immigration, they evaluate company employers for compliances, risk and needs. That's where they will see a total of company's background, which is inspectorate committee will be chaired by KDN. secretariat by ESD itself. As compared to MYXpats Stage 3 and Stage 4, Expatriate application, of course, we evaluate suitability of jobs for expatriates, the needs of skill sets that needed in Malaysia. And it is chaired by KDN and secretariat by MYXpats Centre, and endorsed by immigration for pass approval. For your information, we do have immigration officers who sits in Sudan Tower HQ level 4 to give the endorsement and approval. Okay. And as I mentioned earlier, these are the application process. If you've been curious, what are the application process in hiring an expatriate? Or if you see, we break into 7 steps. The first step is where company submits application in ESD portal. Okay. The second step is where MYXpats officer, we will verify the application, and we will present to the Jawatan Kuasa Expatriate, or we call it JWCE, Joint Working Committee Expatriate meeting for approval. So these are the client charter. When you ask what is the client charter, the client charter will be within 3 working days. But the overall of the approval from end to end process will be 5 working days. So upon we presented the case in the panel meeting, that's where immigration officers will verify and approve the application at pass approval stage. That's where the day 4 and day 5 will take place in the entire process. So once companies submit for endorsement in ESD portal, either you can choose for EPass for those cases for renewal for employment pass and dependent pass, and sticker delivery for any new application, or even dependent also, and together with EAC endorsement and EAC for new application as well, whereby regardless is whether it's EP category 1, category 2, category 3, together with resident pass talent. Okay, the fifth stage is where MYXpats and GYM officer will verify back the documents upon your selection, whichever that you choose, either delivery or endorsed at EAC KLIA, and company will again receive a notification in the system for the immigration payment. So you might be wondering, I already made my payment earlier before I start my application, before I submit my application. That is for the processing fees. The stage 5 stage 6 is where you will be paying for the duration of the pass, and together with the nationality based on visas, based on the nationalities. And stage 7 is where GYM officer will verify back the payment, and we will proceed the endorsement following whether you will be requested to do it through either EPass or sticker delivery or EAC KLIA. Okay. And now we talk about online application via ESD portal. Okay, for those who are not familiar what is ESD, please feel free to check our website at esd.eme.gov.my. We have a lot of latest announcement this year, and also feel free, we are running our survey. Feel free to give your feedbacks for our future improvement. We are more than happy to hear from you, and of course, on a timely fashion, we are looking into more improvement, how we can streamline the entire process, and we can ease the companies in bringing in their top talents to Malaysia. Okay. And a little bit about the categories of employment pass, as most of you might be aware. So those who are not familiar with employment pass, okay, employment pass is where we break into 3 categories. Okay, when I say 3 categories, the term of category 1, 2, and 3. The salary for category 3 is usually between 3 to 4,999. For category 2 is within 5,000 to 9,999, and those for category 1 is at least 10,000 and above. Okay, on the process of valid employment contract, of course, usually for category 1 will be slightly higher, maximum of 5 years, or we will say it 60 months. For category 2, it goes up to 2 years or 24 months. And for category 3, it's not exceeding more than 12 months. Usually category 3 will be more likely for those professionals coming from like fashions, manufacturing, furniture, stewardess for airlines. These are the people who will fall under category 3. For category 2 is mostly for those who are coming from middle management, perhaps, or those like lecturers, directors, architects, engineerings. And usually category 1 for CEOs, we call it key posts, such as our C-suites level, CEOs, technical managing directors, and also other designations. Of course, in terms of renewability, of course, EP1 together with EP2 are renewable. And of course, for a category 3, the maximum of 2 times renewal, which is 24 months. Okay. And in terms of dependents, of course, dependents are allowed under EP1 and EP2, and under EP3 are not allowed. Okay. This is professional visit pass. Some of you might be aware also. Professional visit pass is a non-salaried pass that are usually we grant for foreign talents with certain skill set. Of course, the PVP is only valid for 12 months. It's more like for technical role. For example, if you're coming from manufacturing industry, you have purchased a machinery from German, for example, and during your maybe warranty period, you encountered machine breakdown, and you need the specific technician from Germany to come and repair the machine or to diagnose the machine. That's where the company in Malaysia will apply PVP, which is professional visit pass, for their German technicians to come to enter Malaysia. So the validity of this period is maximum of 12 months. Okay. Okay, sorry for the technical. So the maximum is 12 months. Okay, and in between these we have break the categories into 6. Of course, category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Of course, category 1. So this is a very silent category. You might be wondering, do I need to choose either this is category 1, 2? How do I identify that? You don't need. When you put the application internally, we will categorize this whether this particular role is falling within the category 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6. We will determine that. Okay. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, the types of passes dependent. We do have long-term social visit pass and social temporary for employment for mates. Of course, for under category 1, 2, both are allowed. For dependent, long-term social visit usually will be for parents, parents-in-law, children aged between 8 to 25 years old, and for temporary social visit, which is like mates for both. And for category 3 and for category 3 and professional pass, is not allowed. Of course, category 3, the salary range is between 3 to 4,000 something, and for professional visit pass is non-salaried. So usually the technicians that's coming in from Germany, as I mentioned earlier, their salary are being paid by German company, are not being paid in Malaysia, and they are not taxable in Malaysia. Okay. Okay, this is resident pass talent, as I mentioned earlier. Okay, feel free if you all would like to explore on the RPT, resident pass talent. This is our website, rpt.talentcorp.com.my, and feel free to send your inquiry if you have any questions that you like to know regards to the RPT, and you may contact our help desk also at 0378397171. We do have a lot of information in our RPT This one usually RPT, we will encourage or we will promote to your C-suite levels, such as your CFOs, CEOs, or MDs who have been in Malaysia more than 3 years and they have paid their taxes. Okay, I'll brief you through in the next slide. Okay, this is the overview of resident pass talent. Okay, uh, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the mandate was given to Talent Corp in reviewing the application and also approving applications. Back then in 2011, if you see, we have reached our first 10 years of first 10 years of RPD pass, and now we are in the second phase of post 10 years of RPT, and we do have a lot of expats or resident pass talents holder cases that has been approved in 2011 April, uh, are renewing back for the post 10 years. Of course, we started to receive application in 1st April 2011. Of course, all the application that been submitted to Talent Corp is subject to Immigration Act. We following the Immigrations Act. Okay, if you see, we have received more than 13,000 application has been received and presented, and also in 1,540 application in 2022. If you see, averagely, the volume of approval is around half of it as compared to the applications that we submitted. If let's say around 1,005, I would average it around 700 cases are being approved. It will be like 50%. So the reason why we only give the resident pass talent to the skill set that shortage in Malaysia. For example, certain maybe chemical engineers, maybe what do you say, for certain skill sets that are very difficult to find in Malaysia. So the reason why this what do you say, these expatriates can able to transfer their knowledge to our local employees. Okay, and of course, if you're looking into the minimum eligibility, okay, when I say minimum eligibility, these are the very fundamental minimum eligibility, because some might ask me, Satya, I've been working here 3 years, I have meet all the criteria, does that mean I'm eligible for RPT? The answer is it's very subjective, because when you submit the application, we will evaluate your profile following your type of companies that you're working for, what type of industry, what are type of sectors, your designation, your what do you say, your academic qualification, your years of experience, all are taken into account before the resident pass application be presented to a panel members. Of course, the minimum criteria of at least being in Malaysia for 3 years, and during the RPT application, the expats has to have a valid employment pass in the time of application with at least 3 months of validity. But usually, what I'll advise my clients, please encourage, if you're planning to, if any of your bosses are planning to apply for RPT, please apply 6 months prior to their validity, because it's a tedious process. As for resident pass tenants, we break into two stages, which I will touch later after this. So I will encourage more, if you can apply before 4 to 6 months prior, will be better, and you can do the endorsement process in a smoothly manner. And of course, possess a minimum of 5 years of total working experience for RPT holders, and holds relevant qualification like diplomas, degrees. If you have a question, if how about if my boss does not have any formal education or university degree, can he apply? The answer is no, unless your bosses has a professional certificate, recognized by professional body, like IR or anything. So we will take into account. Okay, and of course earns a basic salary of 15,000 excluding allowance. And I say excluding allowance, any fixed terms of allowance or any directorship are given are not taken into account. Only a basic minimum salary of 15,000. Please bear this. The 15,000 is minimum criteria. Okay, and for lecturers and doctors, effective of 1st February in 2017, we have revised uh, their salary benchmark for 8,000, excluding allowance. As you all know, in medical and education sectors, the salary benchmark is in a lower side. So that's the reason immigration has revise the benchmarking of salary requirement for these two profession, RN 8,000. And of course, the very important criteria is the person has filed their income tax in Malaysia and paid taxes for minimum of 2 years. Okay, and looking into the benefits, what is so special about the resident pass talent? Of course, we give you a 10 years pass for highly qualified expatriates to continue and to reside and work in Malaysia, and also ability to live and work in Malaysia up to 10 years, because you don't require to renew on a yearly basis. Okay, and of course flexible to change employers. Again, employment pass, if you see, the expatriate will be tied to the particular company, but for RPT, the expatriates pass is given under their name. So, upon the getting of resident pass talent, if the particular expatriate or talent wants to resign and join another company, they are feel free. I mean, they can freely move without has to shorten any passes as compared to employment pass. And of course, another reason where the spouse and what do you say, dependents under 18 years and eligible for resident pass talent dependent also, and also under resident pass talent, the spouse can seek employment without the need to apply for an employment pass. So these are the reason or benefits that always people are keen to apply for resident pass as compare those dependent or spouse under employment pass. They are not allowed to work, but under RPT they are allowed to work. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, we break into two stages of the process, whereby stage one and stage two. If you look into it, the entire process for stage one is 21 working days. Again, when I say 21 working days, is upon a full complete document that has been submitted to MYXpats Centre or Talent Corp to process or evaluate. Upon the case presented, assuming upon the case presented and it's been approved, that's where the expatriate are required to what do you say, to initiate the endorsement process. That's where 14 working days will take place. The 14 working days is where we will do another process of evaluation of document, whereby immigration officers will be evaluating back all the document that has been submitted prior to the approval, which is in the stage one. That's where they will re-evaluate back and they will do the endorsement. Of course, the method of endorsement, we have to, if the expatriate is already outside from Malaysia, they can endorse their RPT pass in KLIA, or if they are still in Malaysia, they have to do pass delivery. Okay, but between these two, the common RPT holders that will always choose is pass delivery, because they will be still in Malaysia, so therefore they will apply through pass delivery. If you see the client charter is within 3 working days outside of Klang Valley, within one working days for Klang Valley, then the pass delivery will be done. Of course, the entire process, if you see, immigration officers, upon they do the endorsement fee amount, application will receive a notification for endorsement approval, and to proceed with immigration fees payment via online payment. Of course, again, during the stage one, you will be paying for your processing fees. Upon approval, your stage two, you will do another payment for immigration payment. So these are the two payments that you will be getting to know. If you would like to check what are the standard for based on the national, because the payment we have in our website, you can check, you can put the details, how much the payment that you would like to know. There will be a rough estimated calculation will be appears in our system. Okay. And now I'll walk you through to facilities related to expatriate management. Okay, this is ESD Satellite Center. As I mentioned earlier, we service for employment pass category 1, 2, 3, professional visit pass, together with resident pass talent and their dependents. If you see, we operate 24/7. This center is exactly right behind the immigration checkpoint. Usually, if they come through KLIA 1, you can see us. Of course, we do not have any centers part of KLIA 1. If you ask us, do you have at KLIA 2? No. Those expatriates who are coming in through KLIA only, KLIA 1 only are able to do the endorsement. And the reason why we established this EAC center during the pandemic, I'm pretty sure all of you, personally would have struggling in bringing your expats in and so on. It takes a lengthy process. Most of you have been in drug, what is the process? The border is closed. So through this new and improved system, of course, we save our time a lot on a logistic cost also, and we increase the efficiency of the entire talent mobility. When you reach, let's say your expats has reached KLIA upon immigration clearance, they go to EAC center, they do the endorsement. Within 10 minutes to 15 minutes, the expats will be getting their pass. Out of the airport, the next day, the expats can able to work. As compared to the earlier processes, the expat has to enter Malaysia, HR professionals has to collect their passport, comes to Surian Tower, submit their document, wait for 3 days of endorsement, then come back on the third day, collect the passport, and the fourth day only the expats can start to work. So we see whichever the area that we can streamline the entire process, we can shorten the entire time, the ecosystem. So that's where we have come up with these facilities to most of the companies. So therefore, indirectly, you'll be saving your time and also your costs. Okay, EAC will be open in other major airports as well in Malaysia. We are in a pipeline study. We are planning to extend our services in northern and also southern in Senai and in Penang Airport. It's still in under discussion. Hopefully, in a timely fashion, we can could able to facilitate this to both region. Okay. And delivery of endorsed pass, this is how it looks. Of course, as I briefed just now, a company will receive an approval letter upon your JKE or JWCE meeting approval by panel. Then company will need to make an immigration payment via ESD. Then there's where endorsement and printing of pass by immigration. This is all been done centralized in MYXpats Centre only. And also the endorsed pass will be arranged by our team, collected on a daily basis by Post Malaysia at Surian Tower, and we will deliver to you doorstep. Of course, it will not take more than 7 working days. Sometime if the LOU person is not around or during the postman or the courier service wants to deliver the sticker, you can rearrange back with them to collect on your convenient time. And if you see the entire client charter or processing time, I would say within Valley will be 2 working days. For other states, usually will be within 3 working days. Okay, so the endorsed passing video is in our website also. If you would like to learn how do we stick the sticker, the pass sticker in the passport of expatriate. We have a YouTube tutorial for you. If you see under downloads, right beside the ESD guidebook, feel free to watch the video, and you can familiarize on the process also. And also you can check our latest amendments or information that you would like to know through our ESD guidebook. Okay. And this is regards to EPass. EPass, some of you might aware, those application for renewal application effective from 1st December in 2022 for category 1 and category 2 only. The issuance of renewal application with the previous active pass was endorsed in the same page. So which means, for example, the expats is in the second year and you're doing the renewal, you will not longer getting the sticker. You will be getting e-pass. It's in your left hand side. That's the sample it will look. And of course, in between, assuming the expats has changed his or her passport, then you are required to have the physical sticker. You still required to have a physical. You cannot left your passport, the expatriate's passport, in a blank, and with using the e-pass. We will still request you're expected to what is it to renew their passport. Okay. And the application must be physically in Malaysia during the endorsement stage. Is very important because this is renewal cases, and therefore the applicant has to be in Malaysia in order for them to get the e-pass. Okay. And we do have enhance of our projection. I think most of you who are actively applying for applications, you will know prior to 1st April 2023, you have to wait at least 14 working days in order for you to get your projection approval. And we are happy to announce that now any projections request will be simplified and will be instantly approved or being successful. This projection is based on the number of expatriates that has been identified by your company, including existing expatriates for renewals and new hires. For example, in the particular year, you have, assuming you have 10 renewal cases that you needed a quota, together with 20 headcount that you're planning or any projects that you're planning to bring another 20 expatriates, you may apply totally 30 application and it will be instantly approved. Okay, for applications submitted prior to 1st April 2023 that you have yet to receive a decision following the implementation of the new process, company we will advise company to resubmit back the projection request, and any unutilized projection will not be carried forward over the next year. So this is very common practice. You might be wondering, Satya, if my company does not utilize in the particular year, the quota, can we carry it forward? The answer is no, because the projection is based on the yearly basis. So it will expire every year, 31st of December. So if you request to have a new projection or quota, you are required to apply in the following year with the amount of whether top management, middle management, or entry or technical. Okay, feel free to check our website. We do have our latest announcement, a lot of announcement. Okay, and those who have not been to Suren Tower, this is our HQ, Suren Tower at level 4. This is our information counter on the left and client waiting area. And those in the northern region, this is our Penang address and services that we provide. Of course, you can walk into our center anytime within Monday to Friday, 9 to 6 p.m. You can inquiry regards to EP, PVP, dependent pass, or any talent corp programs and initiative. We have a dedicated officers in our Penang northern region. Okay. Okay, thank you. That's all from me. I'm opening the floor to all of you for a Q&A session. Okay, I have a question from Yung Sing Leong. How many user ID can a company open for MYXpac? What do you mean by user ID? User ID for login into ESD system. If it's login ID for, ESD system is only one. You can only create only one login ID user and password. For LOU, of course, we have a maximum of 7 names that you can nominate among your team. Okay. You're welcome, Yung Sing. Okay, I'm answering to Aruna Selva Raju. What is the timeline for approval once the company ESD application is rejected and then appeals the decision? Of course, any application that been rejected in the panel meeting, appeal process, because appeal process is done manually, we will bring the case to KP, Ketua Pengarah of Immigration. Of course, if you see the timeline is usually we will advise 14 working days, which is equivalent to 2 to 3 months time. But however, Arun, we are looking into it. Of course, we want to ease companies in terms of appeal. So therefore, we are working with immigration. If we could do the appeal online instead of doing manual, so that we can shorten the entire appeal process as compared to the current process that it takes a longer duration. Okay. To answer SSLS, if company is getting projection to MDEC, can they also apply for ESD? Okay, it depends on the nature of the business, whether yours is registered under MDEC or ESD. Of course, those who are under MDEC is ICT sectors. If you're not fall under ICT sectors, if you're under ICT sectors, you have to go under MDEC. You cannot apply through ESD. ESD is for those sectors is not under ICT. Hope I answered you. Francis Xavier, thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. What further enhancement will take place in the future of EP application? We will soon will have Xavier on the announcement. Stay with us. We try to do our best to ease the entire companies in bringing your expatriates. I know it's very vital for you to have expatriates to balance your entire ecosystem. Please bear with us. We might have some new processes coming in following our economy minister announcement that we will be doing. But temporarily, of course, as you mentioned in your chat box, yes, we still maintain our 5 working days of timeline for application of expatriate. We remain that, but we will be introducing more on the enhancement processes that we'll be sharing soon. Stay with us. Please check our ESD website time to time. We will announce to public. Okay, Jolan Yap PP. The question was, would like to check if company wish to not renew the current EP holder, what does the company needs to do? Of course, if once you decided not to renew, you can shorten the pass. Of course, a set of documents that will be required to shorten the pass, and you can submit to our MYXpats Centre. You can walk into MYXpats Centre. We will do the process and we will do the shorten. Once upon the shorten, within 1 month time of shortening of pass, the expat has to leave the country. Okay, Arun, one more question. What is the ratio of local talent to expats talent do we need to have in a company for application to be approved without any issue? There's no any ratios that we said, but of course we encourage you to train the local talents, give the opportunity. You see, the employment rate is very high, I'm pretty sure, and because sometimes the common rejections that we always have, sometimes the marketing role, for example, marketing or business developer role, that particular role can be filled by local, but yet the companies are applying expatriates. So that's where KDN is asking why do we need to hire what is he an expatriates for this role, despite we do have a lot of graduates who can fulfill the particular JD, for example, or even we are hiring foreign HR directors to manage local HRs. Despite we have a lot of talented HR professionals who can manage the our Malaysian law, I would say, So these are the typical issues lah. So there's no any specific ratio. I hope I answered your question. Hey, do we still need to apply projection when year of renewal of? Yes, Sharon Ong, you still need to apply that. The process is still same. There's no any changes. Okay, there's one more question. Siti Suhaila, can operation manager in F&B can apply for RPT pass in category 2? Sorry, for RPT, there's no any category 2. RPT is pass, is the long-term pass, as I mentioned. If you're mentioning about category 2, yes, they can apply if under employment pass. But it depends on the role and designation that you're going to apply. Yes, Khatija Akila, can I know what is the maximum amount of key posts that one's company can have, and how to key posts we have, and how to add more key posts? Okay, key posts is only for MIDA. For us, we will not see as a key post. Of course, if it's a top management, if it's a CEO or CFO, it based on their qualification and other assessment. So there's no any limit of how many. Of course, you will not have any two CEO or CFO in same time in your organization, I'm pretty sure. So the ratio will be either one CEO or one CFO or one COO. Depends on the nature of your business. I hope I answered that. Okay, Jiang Leong, any restriction for director of company applying for employment pass? There is no any restriction of applying, but that also depends what is the role of the particular person. It's very subjective, Leong, as we will see whether the person, the director, is the shareholder, and if it's a shareholder, and do you have any local shareholder? If the local shareholder can able to manage the business, then immigration or KDN might see does this existence of this particular director in Malaysia are required. Okay, it's very subjective on the part of what do you say approving. Okay, what is the criteria when we apply for expats projection? Kongji, we don't have any criteria. As long your company has been registered under ESD and fulfill all the criteria, you can apply for expats projections. Question from Noor Fikri Abdul Rahim. If we have expats that EP expect on early January, is there any possible the company can have approved projection for the new year earlier? Okay, Fikri, I think you have not seen our announcement yet. Now projection is being instantly. So let's say your application is on a yearly basis, isn't it? Assuming on the first masa first is expiring, on the first itself you can put the application. Normally prior to the early, okay, assuming 2024 January, 1st Jan the expats project pass is going to expire, and you wanted to have the projection for 2023, you can put the projection on December, maybe 30 or 31st you can put, and it will be immediately reflect in the system and you can start the application. Usually the projection we will open around October or early November. That's how on a yearly basis we will open. Nurin Kazami, would there be any impact to the company if we are extending employment pass of an expert with our company but no longer employed with our company? Give me a second. Let me understand the question. Pass validity of an expert with our company but no longer employed with our company. Okay, Nurin cannot. If the person, assuming the person is no longer with you, of course, in between, unless you have given the release letter and the employer, sorry, the employee is in the mid of getting a new EP under a new company, then it's okay. There will be no issue. If it's already resigned, then you want to still take under your company EP, there will be very high risk. If any things happen, immigration will look the particular company, because you hold liable for the particular expatriates. So usually what we say, we will advise, if the particular expat is moving to another company, give them a release letter. Upon the new company putting the application has been approved, we will send we will send what do you say, we return back the case to the old company, for example company A back, and we will ask them to shorten their current pass. Upon the shortened pass, you resubmit, then the new company can do the endorsement. So that's the common process we always advise to the client. Nur Hasmadawati Hassan, RPT application only for EP holders obtained via ESD. What about EP and other agency? Boleh, can. Even you're coming from MDEC or MIDA, also you're eligible to apply RPT. Of course, you have to meet all the minimum requirement. It's not only via ESD. In fact, we have a lot of what do you say, RPT holders coming from MDEC and MIDA. You can. Okay, from Ms. Susmita, what happens if the written application in the ESD system is not renewed further? Usually what we will advise, please ask your particular LOU person to notify. Maybe you need to cancel in case ESD has written the cases to you back. Please, and you're not wish to proceed further on the application, please request for a cancel in the system and we'll do the necessary. Amina Azaha, RPT to be applied by himself or by the employer. Okay, it depends on you. Usually, RPT will be applied by the individual RPT or expats, and some MNCs, the HR professionals will be doing for their bosses. So it's subjective whether you want to do it for your expats or you want them to do it, managing it individually is up to them. Because why we ask them to manage individually, we encourage the person to do individually, because sometimes once they already gotten their RPT, sometimes they might leave the company and move to another company. So during the period you might find it difficulties in terms of retrieving any previous application details. Nazira Yahaya, is the inputs or requirement to insert while making applying projection. Of course, now I think you all still seeing the previous method of putting details. So now you no need to worry about that. When you masuk dalam system on ESD projection, you put what is the amount of renewal, just a normal remark, what is the amount of ESD, renewal and the new projection that you needed, you put, then immediately you'll be instantly will be approved. So maybe you all can try After this session, you can try also, and then you will get your immediate instant approval. Jessie Lee, may I know any document need to be provided to obtain employment pass replacement because our company expect lost his passport last week. Passport last week, if the person has lost the passport, of course you have to do the police report and you have to get whatever the requirement with embassies, the specific embassy, and once upon gotten the new passport, then you can do the transfer of endorsement. Of course, there's a set of document you can email to our help desk. They will advise you accordingly. Amina Azaha, expats with category 1, currently working in Malaysia for 8 years. New employer wants to hire him. What is the process to hire him without him leaving the country? Of course, what do you say? If I mentioned earlier tadi, you can always give the release letter, and the current company can start the process of employment pass. Upon the case has been approved under the new company, the immigration will return back to you to do the shortening. Once you do the shortening, you resubmit back, then the new employer can do the endorsement. That's the process. Chongji, may I check if WRT license must for retail company to register under ESD as we face some problem get the license while we need to get. Okay, Chongji, this is thank you for asking this wonderful question. I think most of you now recently facing these WRT license issues. No worries. If you could not, of course, if the time period is a bit longer for you, if you have already submitted, you have the proof of submitted, you prepare a justification letter that the case is being the application is in the process and we have submitted. Therefore you can with the justification letter you can resubmit back, Chongji. We can bring back this letter to panel for them to consider for the approval. Sharul Nizam, hi. Currently, our company do not have the permission to apply for professional visit pass. What is the document information needed for us to request for permission to apply? Okay, Sharul, I would advise you to email to our help desk. You will share the details to you. What are the documents that needed? Any questions before we end our session today? In case I miss any one of your questions, feel free to drop by your email to helpdesk at myexpac.com.my. My team is more than happy to guide you. Okay, I assume we don't have. Okay, the last one, I'll take the last question. What happened to expats quota in the company given by AIDA and DEC, etc. if existing expatriate got RPT? I'm not so sure because MIDA and MDEC is not under our purview. RPT not required any quota for your information. RPT is an individual based application. Okay. Another one more last question I'm taking from Sana LS. Question was missed. Is there any limit of EP quota we can request during each projection? Okay, yes. It's a very good question. Thank you for asking this, Sana LS. Yes, per time, per day, you can request up to maximum of 100. So you minta 100, then the next day, if you need another 100, then the next day you have to wait. So per time application is only 100 max. Okay, if there is no any questions, thank you so much for joining this session, webinar session, and thank you so much to Malaysia HR Forum also to organize this session. I hope I have answered all your questions. If there's any questions that I have missed, my apologies. Feel free to drop your email to us, and we are more than happy to guide you. And thank you so much. Over to you back, Malaysia HR Forum team.